my dad and I were partners in our ranching business. We came from West Texas. Linda and I graduated from high school in Odessa, Texas. And in 1986, we bought a ranch in southeast New Mexico. And in 1996, we bought this ranch. And Linda and I moved here from Odessa and have lived here since 1996. Mark did the project, the Southern Carcass Improvement Project, and we would have been the textbook definition of a Southern Carcass producer. That's the kind of cattle we had, and that's the kind of cattle we thought, well, we believed we had to have those kind of cattle to survive and do well in the desert of southeast New Mexico. I'm talking about like Beefmaster, Brangus, Brayford, Tiger Stripe type cattle. And we had good ones. And we worked real hard to produce good cattle. We did everything that you read about that you were supposed to do, taking care of nutrition and health thing. We just bent over backwards trying to do everything right. But the problem was, we had good cattle, but the problem was we couldn't get the money we thought. Well, we would sell cattle on a video auction, and our calves would bring $10 or $20 a hundred weight less than Gardiner Angus sired calves. And we really, or I did, I kind of took it personally, because I thought I was being discriminated against and people were taking advantage of me. And, you know, I left those sales kind of upset. And one time, and then a friend of mine who had bought our calves before, he said, well, if you think those calves are worth so much money, you just need to feed them yourself and see what they're really worth. And so I did that. And I found out I was getting all they were worth. Unfortunately, that was the truth. And at that time, that was back in about 2000. And John Means gave me Mark's phone number and said, you need to call him. And I did. That was back in 2000. And Mark sent me 10 bulls, and we were just gonna, well, we were gonna try them. And we did that, and we could see marked improvement. Well, we had good cattle. We had good, but then we started to having the kind of calves that somebody else wanted, and somebody else wanted to feed, and we started getting more money for our calves. There, we didn't do just a wholesale trade out all our, just as we started using up our bulls and they started playing out, we just started rotating in Gardiner Angus bulls, and we were buying 12 or 15 bulls a year. We never bought outside cows. We always raised our own replacement cattle. So then we just started keeping those heifers. And then Linda and I, we talked about it and said, you know, it looks like, and we saw Mark they had a sale, and it looks like their best bulls are in that sale. So we decided, let's go to the sale in Ashland, Kansas, and let's try to buy some bulls there rather than they were just sending them to us. So, and we really enjoyed just the sale and meeting the people, and got to meet friends, and they had good would have good educational programs there, and we enjoyed all that. We've been to every sale that Gardiner Angus Ranch has had since 2001. We were at the first fall bull sale. I can't remember what year that was, but we have been there every fall and every spring, and and look forward to those sales and buying our bulls there. And then as a result of that, well, the quality of our cattle, the interest in our cattle, it started climbing. And we could tell it. I mean, it was showing up in our checkbook because we were getting more money for those calves, more interest in them. And but I have kind of a unique relationship. I have a good friend that owns a feed yard, and he is a U.S. premium beef member. Now, he shares with me any carcass data or any information I want to know or interested in. But really, I like trading with him, and I hope he makes money on them, and he's very fair, and we make money, and we just trade that way. When we get that sale catalog, I mean, we labored over that thing. I mean, we would study and look through it, and we knew kind of what, being from southeast New Mexico and on a desert ranch, we have maybe some, some characteristics that we're going to look for that maybe somebody in Florida wouldn't appeal to him. So, but we've used all that information, and we made good choices. Although I don't think we could have made a bad choice, really, because a lot of that had already been made for us, and the bulls in the sale, we just haven't had anything that didn't work for us, and we didn't believe they would. I mean, my whole life, I mean, first of all, I had questions about black cattle doing well in this environment where it's real sunny and real hot for a long time. So it just made sense to me that, a lighter, a red, would do better than and like I told you, I believe that we needed that Brahman influence in the cattle for them to, and most of the people in Eddy County and Southeast, they still believe that. I mean, they are tied to that, and they just know that you have to have that kind of a cow to survive. But the problem is those kind of cattle, they won't grade, and so you don't get the money for them that you want. And what I've found is that those, I mean, there is some acclimation that has to happen from a bull that comes from Kansas or where, but they can do it, and they can do it fast, and maybe you might have to help them a little bit, but it's not a deal breaker by any means. I really did that Southern Carcass Improvement Project right here before Mark and them did it, but I didn't have the exact numbers, but I could see what was happening. The cattle did well, and the calves did well, and the carcasses improved, and the cattle improved, and that I'm not, and that's not saying anything negative about, there's not good Southern cattle, because there are. But what I found out, I mean, the facts are they're just limited on how well they're going to marble and grade, and the value of that carcass is not the same as if it's bred to high marbling proven bull. Now the bulls that I didn't like that Southern Carcass Improvement Project. They were breeding those bulls to predestined and 50-50 and in those the very time. And I was breeding them to sons of those bulls, and I had the same results. It was, I mean, I made progress, and I made it fast, and I was able to cash in on it too. And there wasn't any bias about that. I mean, I didn't have any axe to grind or any, and I wasn't trying to prove it to anybody else, but we proved it to ourselves. The very first time, the very first 10 bulls that we got, one of them kind of got crippled on rocks, and he just couldn't get going. And so I called Mark and asked him about it, and he said he would replace it. And I even kind of felt guilty about it, really, because it really wasn't totally the bull's fault. But he did get crippled. I got another bull. It cost me nothing, and so yeah, that was and I had never forgot that either. That doesn't happen everywhere, and I appreciated it.